Prophet Musa, alayhi wasalam, is acknowledged as a messenger or prophet in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He is also known by the name Moses. His name is mentioned in the Quran more than any other prophet. It is believed that Musa, alayhi wasalam, lived for approximately 120 years. He was born into the Israelite community known as the Banu Isra'il. The miracles performed by Musa, alayhi wasalam, were greater in both number and display than those of previous prophets and messengers. However, the ignorance and obstinacy of his community, Banu Isra'il, were also greater compared to the earlier nations. Consequently, the story of Musa, alayhi wasalam, carries numerous lessons and teachings regarding divine decrees and laws. According to the Hebrew Bible, Musa was born in Egypt to the Israelite tribe of Levi. His father's name was Amram, and his mother's name was Jochebed. At that time, Pharaoh Ramses was the ruler of Egypt. Some astrologers predicted that a child born in an Israelite family would become a threat to Egypt in the future. So, Pharaoh ordered that any male child born to the Israelites be killed. To save Musa, his mother Jochebed secretly raised him for 3 months. When it became impossible to hide him any longer, Amram and Jochebed placed the baby in a small basket and set it afloat on the Nile. Musa's sister, Miriam, followed the basket as it floated down the river. The basket reached a spot where Pharaoh's daughter, Batya, was bathing. Seeing the beautiful child alone, she felt compassion and took the baby to the palace. Miriam, observing all this, approached Batya and asked if she needed a Hebrew woman to nurse the child. Batya agreed, and Jochebed, Musa's mother, was brought to the palace to nurse her own child under the guise of a nursemaid. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Qasas, verse 7, "We inspired the mother of Musa. Suckle him, and when you fear for him, cast him into the river. Do not fear or grieve, for we will return him to you and make him one of the messengers." Musa alayhi wasalam grew up in Pharaoh's palace, loved by all. Pharaoh had no male heirs, only a daughter who eventually succeeded him. Pharaoh's wife, Asiya, was deeply moved by the sight of Musa and persuaded Pharaoh not to harm him. Allah mentions in Surah Al-Qasas verse 9, Pharaoh's wife said, "This child will be a comfort for me and for you. Do not kill him. Perhaps he may benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." As the baby Musa refused to be nursed by any other women, Asiya became worried. Miriam then suggested that she knew of a woman whose milk Musa would accept. Upon bringing Jochebed to the palace, Musa began nursing from. Pharaoh's household was amazed, and Jochebed was allowed to take Musa back to her home to raise him under certain conditions. Allah says in Surah Al-Qasas verse 13, "So we returned him to his mother, that her eye might be comforted, and that she might not grieve, and that she might know that the promise of Allah is true. Most people do not know." One day, Musa entered the city at a time when most people were resting. He found 2 men fighting, one from his own Israelite community, and the other an Egyptian. Musa intervened to help the Israelite and accidentally killed the Egyptian with a single blow. Musa was deeply distressed by this and sought forgiveness from Allah, forgave him. Musa vowed never to support criminals again. Following day, Musa saw the same Israelite man in another conflict. Musa was hesitant to intervene, remembering his promise to Allah. However, the Egyptian man accused Musa of being a murderer and spreading corruption, which led to rumors about the previous day's incident. The news eventually reached Pharaoh's court, where it was decided that Musa should be executed. Fearing for his life, Musa decided to flee Egypt. Surah Al-Qasas verse 18 describes Musa's situation. So he became fearful, vigilant in the city. Then suddenly, the one who had sought his help the day before called for his help again. Musa said to him, "Indeed, you are clearly a misled person." Musa understood that his life was no longer safe in Egypt. So he decided to leave the kingdom of Pharaoh and head towards the land of Midian. However, he had no clear destination in mind and was greatly distressed. Musa prayed to Allah for guidance and protection, and eventually he reached a well in Midian. There, he found 2 women struggling to water their flock. Other shepherds were using the well. Out of compassion, Musa helped them draw water from the well. After returning home earlier than usual, the women's father inquired about the reason, and they explained the incident. Impressed by Musa's strength and character, father, who was believed to be Prophet Shuaib, alayhi wasalam, invited Musa to his home and later offered one of his daughters in marriage to him, in return for Musa working for him for 8 or 10 years. In Surah Al-Qasas, verse 28, Musa agrees. Musa said, "This is the agreement between me and you. Whichever of the two terms I complete, there will be no injustice to me, and Allah is a witness over what we say." After completing his term, Musa set off with his family towards Egypt, hoping to reunite with his mother and sister. However, during the journey, they encountered several difficulties, including the onset of labor for his wife. Amidst the challenges, Musa saw a fire on Mount Sinai and went to investigate. There, Allah spoke to Musa, and he was granted prophethood.